Immediately into the Wailing Blue. And yeah, I've got to hold the controller specifically. Just so I can keep tapping the button. Yeah, unfortunately, Hugo is not as hardy as Yunica. Does less damage. Fortunately, it is a bit easier for him to dodge, being at long range. Hard to say if it is easier for him to maintain an experience multiplier. He also runs slower, I believe. Not so much a problem once he can dash. But just that one level up, we're already got a lot more damage. You know, this looks like it would be a secret passage. Unfortunately, not the case. Yeah, I was actually attempting to do that one ability, but as soon as you come to a stop, it just doesn't work for me half the time. Kind of have to tap forward in order to try to get it to work. But yeah, I always do it by accident. Never mean to do it. If it hits, it hits. If not, it leaves me open. Anyway, first shredder chest. Oh, Salcidian Panacea. I probably did not pronounce that right. Always use those immediately. I actually don't know if they give you a full heal or not. I have to double check that. But it doesn't really matter because you can't use it. During a boss fight. But as usual, I'm going to want to fight good groups of enemies to get a couple levels. Not that I really needed healing. Hugo's tactics are all about hit and run. Give me that SP. And our first artifact. Strange, this appears to be one of the sacred artifacts of East. Why is it here? Either way, it's better off with me than it is with the demons. The Cerulean Flabellum, which sounds like the name of a band. Surge of power bursts forth from the artifact. Hugo is granted use of the Force Shield skill. So, artifacts of East bestow mystical skills upon their bearers. And we have seen this one before, so this is the same tutorial as earlier. But yeah, some enemies are basically weak to elements. However, Hugo's Force Shield encases him in a buoyant bubble of protective energy. Generates a powerful shield that not only causes him to glide when jumping, but also nullifies one attack. This is what makes Hugo the best character to use for boss rush. Impressive. I wasn't expecting it to hold so much power. Perhaps this contraption was built to harness the power in some way, or siphon it. I doubt it's the only one of its kind in here. I'll have to keep my eyes open for any others. But just to build that up, yeah, unfortunately it costs a lot of MP. It does damage enemies if it touches them. Holy cow. But yeah, I don't want to be the one taking damage here. Nope. The other thing, I don't think Hugo's Eyes of Facts can dish out multiple hits. I mean, if both streams hit, I think it still only counts as one. On the plus side, it still does allow for multiple enemies to be hit if they're grouped up. Yeah, these are the second tier of those types of enemies. We were doing like 12 damage to the first group. And, of course, this game likes to give us platforming puzzles. But then again, they are a lot worse in Arcade Defeation, so I'm not complaining. And probably better to activate the shield before you jump. Downside is the shield disappears if you leave the screen, too. Yeah, we're back to the Tier 1 enemies. Alright, got a boost. And of course, locked door back here. Man, my eyes are bad. I can barely see the single SP crystal. Oh, locked up tight. Won't open without a key. Who's surprised? And you guys have distance, so yeah. Hugo is also not very maneuverable. You cannot jump while in the middle of firing. But that was, I got at least half a level out of that. compared to the previous screen. I may grind up one more just to be safe. I will say this. Hugo's first boss is probably the most difficult for him. Mainly because you really have nothing to work with. Oh, got a free boost max. So yeah, let me do one more run through this room. Just to see how much experience I'm getting. Fair amount, about 20%. Should be closer to 30. Yep. Stay away from the sword and the hurty things. Just get that free boost max. Yeah, this is not a bad grinding room, but I think I'm good to keep going. Of course, we got this inevitable trap room here. Oh, what the? It's sucking me in! Where am I? Must have been a teleport trap. Can't believe I walked right into it. The fact that the trap was set at all means that. No, there's no sense dwelling on it. I just need to make my way back to that room. And find some means of countering the spell long enough to get through. On the plus side, free save point. That's what I want to do, is I want to accept my first blessing, get the current armor strengthened. And so basically anything else, if you want to go for something ahead of time, it's not as expensive. Probably, well, of course, if you're not taking damage, which is of course ideal. Maybe strengthen the Eyes effect if you want to get something expensive, or extend drop item effects. But basically for now, yeah, we're going to focus on kind of an offensive situation here. Peculiarly shaped depression in the altar. Actually, I want to double check something. I didn't really do much of this in the first run. Let's see what the hints say. So Eli's voice echoed back in response. Hugo, is everything alright? Hugo told Eli he'd been transported to another room. Teleport trap? What you've described, it sounds like the crux of the matter is the pulling force of that vortex in the center of the room. Give me some time to think about it, and I'll see what I can come up with. In the meantime, you might as well keep on exploring. So we're not going to tell you how to solve it until after you get the items necessary to do so. Yeah, I'm basically going to try and call in after every story segment. Nice thing is about those power shots is they're basically Mega Man X charge shots. You just have to be able to do them. I kind of wish you could just charge the attack button and unleash it that way, but nope. Okay, so yeah, this room is better for grind than the last one was. But yeah, I should gain a level in here. Kill them before they can attack. Yep, there it is. Kill them before they can attack is the best way to do this. Oh, baby. Oh, just, yeah. Sit there and tank it. Between those four, that's about 20% of a level, but I'm going to keep going. You really only have to worry about excess grinding on the higher difficulty levels. I basically want to stay on top of the curve on normal here. Of course, even on the higher difficulty levels, you get less experience, so the grinding basically becomes a necessity anyway. I'll clear out the room before I finish exploring. Well, that worked out nicely. Even though every action was unintentional. Oh, nope. This isn't Toho. If he hits me, it hits me. Not my hitbox. Either there's a Castle of Shikigami, because this is going up after that. The other nice thing about Hugo's shots is they do have nice vertical range. Do not have to be on the exact same Y plane. We are going to want that. And yes, he can make that jump without gliding. Another thing we're going to need if we want to get goodies from the Ruse, or K's as they were called in the Book 1 and 2 translation. Maybe because it's better than calling them Lose. And I see you here, enemies. Little locked door. Basically, like I said, this is going to be kind of a blindish run again, because I don't remember the exact pathway through the tower since the last run. I was actually debating on doing all 3 runs of East Origin in a row versus playing another game or revisiting another game in between each run. I figured, well, I've gone through this game consecutively multiple times already. I figured it's just better to revisit other ones. Give a good breather, even though, well, Book 1 and 2, we climb this tower again. Seems like all you do is climb the arm tower. Yeah, thanks for teleporting right into my shot. There we go. You got boost power. Oh wait, wrong game. Got no problem with staying on top of the level curve right now either. I don't feel the need to do any major grinding just yet. Whee! Alright, we got our first emerald, which lets us charge up the force shield. And I think it allows us to take 2 hits now. Yep, there are specific jewels associated with each of the 3 artifacts of East. With each jewel acquired, corresponding skill becomes more powerful. But yeah, with even a single jewel collected, the appropriate skill can now be charged. Additional jewels increase the rate of MP recovery and provide an overall increase in power. Absolute necessities to have. I don't need that healing. And the slow run to the exit. Sorry, Hugo, but yeah, you are much slower than Yunica. Even though he's carrying a lighter weapon. Where the blue moon crest, which lets us get out of here.